Hey everyone, I want to give you a quick little kind of calculator tutorial or how I would use quadratic formula and be able to work from paper to calculator to be able to get the answer, because like I said in the Google Classroom post, it seems like most of the errors that you're having are coming from how you're typing things into the calculator. So let's take a look overall, because we'll cover a few things other than just like calculator usage along the way. So let's look at a sample problem. When you have 2x squared minus 8x plus 7 equals 0, it's already in the format you need as far as ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So we can go right to the quadratic formula and know that a equals 2, b equals negative 8, and c equals 7. So what we do is we look at negative b and plugging it in. Well, negative b, we can just put 8 because negative 8 equals 8. Plus or minus the square root of negative 8 squared, which we'll talk about the fact that b squared is always going to be positive, right? Negative 8 times negative 8 is positive 64. But I still want to write everything out of negative 4 times 2 times 7 as far as plugging in the formula. And then all over 2a, or 2 times 2. So let's start to do some of this like on paper before even putting it in the calculator. I don't like to use the calculator until like the last step or until I really need to. So we have 8 plus or minus the square root of 64. 4 times 2 is 8, times 7 is 56, minus 56, all over 4. All right, cool. So now a couple more steps before we go to the calculator. 8 plus or minus the square root of 8 divided by 4. We're going to talk about this in a second because we can look at this as far as doing simplified radical form, but really I want to help you with calculator usage right now. So we can talk about the fact that our two answers are going to be 8 plus square root of 8 over 4 or 8 minus square root of 8 divided by 4. So, two things. I'm going to show you calculator usage of how you can type everything in the way it is and have your answer come out correctly. But then I also want to show you how to do it step by step even from here. So let's go a little bit backwards, or not backwards. Let's go from this to calculator. I'm going to try to get close up to the calculator. If we want to do 8 plus square root of 8 over 4, I have to type in parentheses if I was going to do it all in the calculator without solving for the numerator and then the denominator and dividing separately. So I'm going to do a lot of parentheses. I'm going to do 8, first open set of parentheses, 8 plus, I have to find my square root button. It's always in different places on your calculator. Plus the square root of 8. Parentheses come up. Can you see that? Parentheses come up on my calculator for when I type in the square root of 8. So I have to do 2 sets of parentheses to indicate that it's square root of 8 and that the whole thing is 8 plus the square root of 8 divided by 4. If you don't put those parentheses in, it's just going to do square root of 8 divided by 4 and then add 8 to it. Your calculator doesn't know PEMDAS unless you tell it to. So I know one of my answers, if my calculator is correct, is 2.7071067. So one of my answers is 2.71. Okay? So I'm going to put that down over here, that I already solved this for 2x equals 2.71. Alright, some of you might want to do just 8 plus square root of 8. Write that down. and then divided by 4, right? I think we can do that right now. Bear with me as I do it on the calculator to the side. 8 plus square root of 8. 10.84, and I'm going to be a little bit of a hypocrite in that for now I'm going to write it like that, although normally I would want you, if you're doing it this way, of doing your calculations for numerator and denominator and then dividing, I would extend to like 3 or 4 decimal places so you don't have any rounding issues, because I know IXL can be a pain in the neck as far as that goes. I won't take you through step by step of this one. You will see that you should get 1.29 as your 2 answers. But I wanted to give you some help with how to use a calculator, as well as the step-by-step of going back and forth of writing it down and using a calculator. I did say I was going to talk about simplifying radical form. So everything you have through here is quadratic formula for getting your answer in decimal form like you would need to do for IXL. But I want to tell you, for simplified radical form, take a look at what you would do. Square root of 8 has perfect square factors of 2 and 4, so we can write 8 plus or minus 2 rad 2 divided by 4. And then we can either leave it like this, or I think it's even preferable to say 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 over 2, because we can simplify there. But really, this part here would be perfectly acceptable to do simplified radical form in this stage here, or like this as well. Like always, send me an email if you have any questions. Like I said, I noticed in some of you starting IXL yesterday that it looked like most of your errors were just coming from how you were using your calculator. So I hope that this helps, but please, I can't know what's confusing or what's not unless you reach out to me. Also, I saw a lot of people finished today's assignment yesterday already, so be on the lookout for an email for an optional challenge assignment. Hope all is well. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, and keep up the great work.